Hello, my name is Garrett Holmes. I'm the trades teacher here at North Bend High School, and today I'd like to make a short video and talk about how we integrate our Paxton Paterson building skills system into our North Bend High School construction trades program. Come on inside, let's have a look. So let's talk about how we integrate the Paxton Paterson system here at North Bend High School. Basically, when we looked at setting up the Paxton Paterson system, we looked at how the different modules apply to different students, and some of them are easier for first-year beginning students. So we kind of chose those modules to start with so that students can become familiar with the system, how it works, how we like to do it here, and then they can take those skills in the second year where the modules are a little more complicated and they can perform those at that point. In our first year, we have the electrical skill module, we have the power tool module, we have the framing module, and then also we have the hand tool module. One thing you'll notice, for instance, in the hand tool module that I have here, and with several of my modules, I like to put the tools that I use not only in the tubs, but on the wall. That way at the end of the period, when I'm running around trying to get everything organized and clean up and whatnot, I'm able to have a quick glance at the wall, make sure everything's present, and then move on to the next step, which is usually assigning grades for the day. So being organized and efficient in this system is really important. So at this point, let's move to the outside group. Along with blueprint reading, which we also do in the first year module group as a class in our classroom, we've also had the opportunity to do what I call our messy modules, which we do in our outdoor covered environment. And in these modules, we do masonry, drywall, tile, painting, and concrete. And those are also my first year modules. Let's step outside and see where we do them. So basically we have this great outside facility. It has water for cleanup. We have our painting module, our tile module, masonry, concrete, and drywall skills on the back side. All their tools and components are on the back wall in the large overhead storage area. And that allows the kids, like we say, to make a mess out here and also be able to clean it up quickly after the end of the day. Another thing we work on here at North Bend is being efficient with our materials. We use a lime and sand mix for our masonry and our concrete modules. This allows us to reuse the material over and over again. This has been used for 2 years. Again, at the first of the year, we'll throw it in our mixer, wet it up, get it all mixed up solid so it's easy to work with for the kids, and they just use it over and over again. They might have to add a little more lime at times to get it to the right consistency, but it saves on buying materials, which you'll find is a big factor in the building. Another thing we have that is highly desirable is we open this gate and it's our cleanup area. So for things like drywall, masonry, all these modules where we're out here outside, we can take our tools out, spray them off real quick out here in this sump we built, and it's a real efficient way that shortens the cleanup time and allows us more time to be efficient in class. As students start in year 2, they certainly get more challenged in modules like the weatherization module, where they get to learn a lot of different things about how to weatherize, insulate, and fix windows and things in houses. After that, they move to finished carpentry. Finished carpentry is a little more advanced. They do base, set windows, doors, do the trim details. And again, in all these modules, you'll see the tools are on the wall. I can find that quickly. A lot of the components are available readily for them. One of our more complex modules is roof framing, where they have to learn how to do a lot of angle cuts and things. I like to preload the materials so they don't spend a lot of time chasing things. They can spend more time on the details of actually framing the roof. Certainly that's an advanced module. And the next one we'll look at is our plumbing skills module. Again, we have our piping up above, so it's readily accessible. I have cut lengths down below of copper, metal, ABS, and PVC pipe. They have the tools readily available on the wall to complete the module. This is one of the kids' favorites. They get to solder pipe and also do a lot of different joining and applications that involve pipe and fitting. Another advanced one where there's a lot of measurements and readings and technical skills involved is the HVAC module. The kids have done really well in this. My second-year students really enjoy this. Certainly as far as joinery and things, the most advanced module we do is the cabinet making module, where they actually build a full-scale cabinet box with a functioning door with European-style hinges. And this one has a shelf in it that's not in place right now. But it has a top that is actually a particle board. It's a particle board box with actually a Formica-style top, that a laminate top that they actually put on and use the laminate router to fit. So again, a very practical and realistic module that the kids get to learn to do. Next one that is fun to do is the surveying and site planning module, where they learn to use transits and also build scale models of building sites and learn about topography and things like that. So that's another advanced one that the kids do in year 2. Last one we'll talk about, actually second to last, is estimation skills. And estimation skills is a module that involves a lot of math, and actually they go through the same plans we've used since blueprint reading and do an estimation of the cost of building that house from the ground up. So the last one we will look at that is in year 2 is our communication skills module. And I had this one in my year 1, but it's a little advanced for the first year kids. There's a lot of connections and a lot of little details to this and a lot of small parts and measuring devices. So I had, they did struggle with it a little bit, so I bounced it to year 2, and it's worked out well with the year 2 students. So that's our year 2 setup. Again, we divide it first year, second year, and then our third year are more full-scale modules that I've actually designed that go with our third year students. So next we'll look at our storage room. I call it our tool crib, and see how we set up for the materials we need to do the job. Let's talk about how we efficiently store and organize tools so that kids can get the equipment they need if something breaks or if they're short of materials, and how you can stay on top of that. Let's look at our tool crib. As far as my Paxton Paterson courses go, I like to keep everything really organized as far as the different modules. So I'll have extra equipment in all of them stored, and then I'll have my sandpaper and glue area. So each module is labeled. Those are my first year ones. First year ones up top with the concrete masonry, hand tools, power tools. You'll see that I'll keep a spare of a lot of the tools, just because when you work with high school students, things can go terribly wrong at any given time, and it's not always something that is a problem or someone did anything wrong. It just happened to be that a tool failed at the time and we don't have a lot of time to work on that tool, so we just get another one out. Plumbing goes through a fair amount of elbows and things like that, so you have to have those on hand. Extra sealant for the weatherization module. Again, painting uses a fair amount of rollers and different tools. So as we look at our second year modules, our surveying and site prep, our finished carpentry, roof framing, use a lot of shims in the finished carpentry one. Your cabinet making and your biscuits and your communication with all your connectors, use a ton of those. Then your blades and accessories, you'll use a lot of those just to run the program in general. So as far as the rest of our tool crib goes, a lot of our year 3 stuff is in here, but you'll have a lot of fasteners that you go through, and you certainly don't want to get short. In my first year I taught this, I was running to the lumberyard all the time and early in the morning before school started. So you have those available before the school year starts. Extra blades available because things happen. We have had a few issues with our saw stop over the years, and your nail guns, again, that's more year 3 oriented. But overall, that's our tool crib, that's how we organize, and that's how we keep the kids rolling. So when we talk about efficient use of tools within our modules, for instance, the power tool module will use the router tables, and I actually set up 2 of them, and they're exactly the same. One has the 1/4 inch bit, one has the 3/4 inch bit, so we're not always having to reset the blades and whatnot, which takes quite a bit of time. We also have our planer and our joiner set up. They're all little tabletop models, so they're easy and efficient for the kids to use. One thing I did do is I got all overhead cords so that basically there's nothing to trip on. Our first year we were stepping over cords a lot, and I found we had some problems with that, and that people don't always focus, and we didn't want anyone to get hurt. So we implemented that. We have a vacuum system that picks up all of our sawdust basically, so it really helps the cleanup time. Once we got that put in, we were able to spend a lot more time within the modules because we don't have the cleanup. Also, we've got our drill press over here as part of our cabinet making module. We have our grinders and our metal cutoff blades that are part of our plumbing module and whatnot when they're working with the steel piping. So we also have all of our organized plywoods, our doors, and our drywall stored in a very convenient area. If we walk over further, we can look at how we dispense our paper. We tend to use a lot of paper, big rolls of it. Just in general, like in painting, we'll use it. You can pull that out, cut it off. This is used for the roof framing module when you do your layouts. Another way is you work down the nice saw tables. In like our tile module, we tend to use a lot of felt paper. So you want a system where you can get to it quickly. So you should be able to pull that off, measure it, and cut it quickly. So otherwise you tend to spend a lot of time doing small parts of a project and never really get to the finished project. So these are things I just built in class to help things go a little more efficiently. So that's our Paxton Paterson system and our shop and how we run it here at North Bend High School. So one of the real benefits of our classroom here in North Bend is that we have the ability to have a full classroom along with our shop. The first year I taught, we just worked in the old wood shop, and it was very tight to try to get all this done. The students begin their day, they pull out their folder, and it'll have their packet in it, and they go to their desk, which could be an assigned seat or not, depending on how that works. And they have their packet for their module that they're in, and they begin their work. They'll write in their journal every day. This is year 1 and 2. And then when everybody's done with that process, we go out to the shop and begin our day out there. So the day does basically start with a focused effort in writing and remembering what we did the day before, because that's what they write on. One of the nice things about the shop when we designed it, we do a lot of large overhead work, and I was able to get basically a formatted screen that's 12 feet, so I can put that down. We have our large overhead, so it basically allows me to do full-scale drawings and things on the screen that the kids in the back of the class can see also. So if you are designing a shop to work for classes that are very efficient, things like smart boards and things are nice, but you need a little bigger scale if you're going to do things that have small measurements and things on them. So this is our classroom setup. It's a great way to start the day. The kids can kind of come in, get their minds focused on construction, and then we head out into the shop and do our projects from there.